So today I find myself in Burbank, California, and boy, am I happy to be here. No, I'm not at some big festival. Not at a massive event with a lot of people. Nothing crazy like that. Even better, even better. And I hope you're hungry because I know I am. This is one of my favorite locations in the Los Angeles area. That's right. I'm at Bob's Big Boy. So right behind me here is the man with the burgers. That's right. You may recognize him. He's very iconic, and he's got some very tasty food. But beyond that, this restaurant here in Burbank is not your typical Bob's Big Boy. It's got a lot of history to it. And I'm going to go in and not only check out some of the history behind the place and show you around a little bit, but yeah, I'm going to eat. Obviously, they have the best burgers in town, in my opinion. A lot of people's opinion. But wait till you see it, and wait till you find out some of the people that have been here. As you can see, it was built in 1949 by locals Scott McDonald and Ward Albert, and is the oldest remaining Bob's family restaurant in America. How cool is that? When you walk in, you'll see all kinds of gifts and things you can buy from the little gift area, plus a bunch of plaques with some movie scenes featuring Bob's. Austin Powers, anybody? Ring a bell? Or how about Heat? Here's a quick little scene with Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, hanging out, talking shop at Bob's Big Boy, probably drinking some delicious coffee, and yeah, you got to watch the rest of the movie. And if you think that's cool, guess who dined at this table? Any guesses? Any guesses? Well, have a look here at this plaque. That's right, the Beatles. They ate at Bob's Big Boy. Isn't that awesome? I'm a huge Beatles fan. I mean, who isn't? Come on now. But they sat at this booth. And this plaque says, the Beatles dined in this booth in the summer of 1965. Their Help album was released in the USA on August 13th. Big hits included Yesterday and Ticket to Ride. I heard the Beatles when they came to town, they wanted to eat at an American diner. That just, your typical burgers, fries, what Americans ate at the time, and still do to this day. So they had a nice little. They dined here at Bob's Big Boy. I think that's totally, totally cool. So you know how like on those food vlogs, um, and the photos that you see on Instagram where people take the photos of their food and it's all nice and looks great and awesome. So you're gonna kill me, but totally forgot to take a picture of my burger. Man, I was hungry. Okay, so I ate the thing. I ate it real quick, but lucky for you, I did save the day because I have an awesome shot of my empty plate.
Whoa! Whoa!
I think one of the great things about being out here at Bob's too is just being in Burbank. This is such a cool area. This is where Walt Disney has his studio. I know Walt's not around anymore, but hey, Walt Disney's studio is in town. You have Warner Brothers up the road, DC Comics, Mad Magazine is here even, where I interned at. Had a few comics in. Although when I interned, I was in New York, so not in Burbank. But anyhow, just the vibe here is really, it's always great. I love this town, love coming out here, and Bob's magnificent. Sorry about not getting that photo or the picture of my burger. I think we'll all be okay from that, but just look it up online. It tastes amazing, and you'll love coming out here. So
Anyhow, with that being said, it's getting late, as you can tell. I'm going to go back to my studio and, like always, try to figure out something inspired off my trip here to Burbank, California.
All right, I am back in the studio with some freshly brewed. Did I say brewed? Man, what's wrong with me today? Brewed coffee in this Irish mug. I'm not Irish, but hey, it holds coffee, so I'm fine with that. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed Bob's Big Boy. I could have gone on and on and on about more of what it's like being there, but you got to just go for yourself. It's just a great atmosphere, great food. When you go, something else that's kind of unique with all the film studios around and everything. You'll hear some interesting conversations behind you or in front of you at a different booth. Last time I went, there was a production crew there complaining about the latest project they were working on, about how some of the actors were giving them a hard time, and really interesting stuff just to listen in on. Again, I could have sat there all day. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do sit there all day till they kick me out. Not quite that hardcore. I haven't been kicked out yet, but I have camped out there for a while some times. Anyhow, back in the studio, it's time to draw a cartoon based off my experience at Bob's Big Boy. And so I came up with some ideas. Last time in my Village Fest video, I showed you my notebook, my cheap old notebook that has ideas in it. And this time I have my old iPad with me, and I'm going to show you just my what I do with digital drawing. I use a software called Procreate on my iPad Pro, and I do everything in layers. I do the pencil layer, then the inking layer, then the color layer. And I'm going to quickly just walk you through those steps, and then we'll see the whole comic come together. How's that sound? Good? All right, let's get moving. So this is where it all begins. It's just a blank quote unquote paper. It's not paper, of course, on my iPad Pro. And again, I do everything by layers. So I already have this whole image done. But what I do is I start with the sketch like that. And as you can see, it's just a pencil sketch. Looks like a pencil sketch. It's not really a pencil. All right, I'll stop saying that. It's on an iPad, but it looks just really loose, and you can't really see what's going on 100%. But I use it as a roadmap to determine what to do next with my inking, which is on this layer right here. Whoops, sorry, wrong one. As you can see, I go over and I ink everything. Then now with Procreate, there's all kinds of pens and pencils too. So I don't want to tell you what pen or pencil to go with. Use whatever one you want. If you would like to know my exact pen and pencil that I'm using, just let me know in the comments. I'll be sure to get back to you. But yeah, it's just an inking layer then on top of that. From this point, I go in and I start to color. I fill in backgrounds. The furthest backgrounds I do first. And then I start getting to the other backgrounds, like this, and the skin tones, and I get to some hair. And finally, I get to the other things. What I do on top of this color layer, these color layers, is for each individual one on top of it, I will start adding some shading in and different aspects like this. You can see I shaded in the beaver, which this will all come together and make sense for you once I get the caption in. But yeah, everything just kind of comes together then with adding the different layers. And as you can see, I have some shades in there and everything else. It's really, I know I just, filmed a minute of that, but it is pretty simple when you do things by layers, and it takes practice. You just basically start from the bottom layer and move your way up, and you learn how things overlap and how it all comes together into a nice cartoon. From this point, though, I don't add my caption on the iPad Pro. No. I go into Photoshop. Why? It's just a little bit easier for me. You can add captions on Procreate and the iPad if you want, but I don't like to do that. I like to hop into Photoshop. So that being said, now you've seen kind of just a brief little process of how I put it together. Let's watch the whole thing come together in 30 seconds. You ready? Let's do it. All right, so what do you think of that comic? Good, bad, ugly, awful, fantastic, best comic you've ever seen, right? That's the kind of response I love to get, but it doesn't happen too often. Once in a while, though, I think I'm gonna have somebody run up and tell me that. But anyhow, that was my cartoon inspired off of Bobsbigboy. What a place. I really hope you can make it out there next time you're in Burbank, or hey, just come to California to go to Bob's. It's totally worth it. Buy a plane ticket, fly out here, just go to Bob's and fly home. Totally worth it. This is the Beatles booth even, you know? So hey, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I hope you join me again. I don't know where I'll be next, but we'll find out soon. And wherever I go, I'll do another comic based off that trip. So in the meantime, happy drawing day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.